Hello, welcome to Creative You Podcast with Catherine Kirby out of McSherrystown, Pennsylvania. My home's in Hanover, and I thought I would bring Miss Little Lily, also known as Little Sunflower, onto the show. She came from Good Old Tales Animal Rescue. I've had her since Valentine's Day. She is the sweetest little girl. I've had a lot of dogs. She just doesn't expect anything. I mean, she wants her food. We've never heard her bark. You never hear her paws clicking, so it's easy for her to slip away. Like last week, at the yarn shop, I went to put the flag out, and I didn't realize she was beside me. And I just happened to look up the street, and there she goes. She's just a little tiny thing. They think she might have Welsh Terrier in her. They had to shave her when they first got her, and she's so sweet. So I thought I would just put her up here and let you see her, and then we'll gently put her back down. There we go. We took both of the dogs for a walk today because it's like summer outside, and I have a feeling that it has to do with these storms in the Midwest, and but we took advantage of it. And the next street over, our neighbor has a big dog, and she has done foster care for Good Old Tales, and she saw my big beautiful Hartley, hi sweetie, when he first came, and that was in November. She hasn't seen him since, and she was just amazed at how beautiful his coat has gotten, how much more limber, how he has a spring in his step. And I told my husband, I said, did you notice the girl dogs across the street that they couldn't take their eyes off him? And we were giggling about it. And there's a story that goes with that my husband, every time I tell it, he's like, oh no, not again, not this, because this story goes back 20 years. And I was saying that when we first got Hartley, and I wish I could get him up here so you could see him, that he looked dejected and worried and worn out and didn't look very appealing. But now that he looks great and he's happy, the girls are checking him out. So when I met my husband, he was widowed, he was sad, he was dejected looking, and he had asked a woman out for a date. She would hang out at his next door neighbor's house, and she turned him down flat. And it's quite a blow when you're widowed and you think that you're washed up and you won't be happy again. But then I met my future husband, and he got joy and happiness back in his life, and he got some new clothes, and he had a sparkle in his eyes, and I talked him into getting a cowboy hat, and he just looked fantastic with his dart coming across, hiding some of the bald spots, which I don't care about. And his neighbor had a party of sorts, and as we walked up the steps, the woman that had turned him down was standing there and totally ignored me and kind of came on purring to him, how's your family? Give me a kiss. And he did, and I was really upset. So we tell that story has survived, and he's like, oh, not this again. So most of you, all of you, know about the coronavirus and what it's done, and of course the shop is shut. I've been going over there anyway because I have the foster kitty who's over there, and she's upset. She knows that things are different, and I've just been trying to do some inventory and some things. So most of my things are over there, but it's been 2 weeks, and I decided just to show you what I brought home it might not be a great continuation. And I also wanted to show you some things that customers have done, and I don't know the pattern names. These were donated as gift items, but I would like to show them to you. Diana, who comes into the shop, really likes to try out stitch patterns, and I would say for her, she enjoys the process, not so much the end product. This is the scarf that goes, whatever yarn this is, it's very soft. It feels like it may have some silk in it. So a small scarf, and you know, scarves run the gamut from big, long, short. In some countries I've seen the man just has a little tiny, not much bigger than that, around his neck, and that's all you really need. And some women put a pin there, and you know, whatever. So this is something that Diana had made, and I will pass on. And then she also donated this beautiful tam. You know, I know you don't hear the word tam much anymore, but I like to play this word game. And it doesn't even recognize tam as a word. But there's the top. And then this is how it looks from the sides. Very pretty. I don't know if it's the same yarn, but it's really soft and luxuriant feeling. There's diamonds, maybe double moss stitch. You know, often in books, you can find magazines, you can find pages like this that give you stitch patterns, and go ahead and cast on and do your own scarf or hat. Be a little adventuresome. This is the same yarn, it goes with this. I really like this cute little scarf. It looks like just yarn over knit two togethers, but done with this kind of fuzzy, soft yarn. It really looks pretty. And I don't know, is the infinity scarf kind of dying out? Are people getting back to straight scarves? What do you think? And then, of course, you can do this. So many things you can do. If it's winter time and you really want to bundle up, you can do this. So, isn't that cute? And then this is a hat made out of Ella Ray Seasons that one of the ladies made. This is to be donated, and I forgot to put it in the box, so I thought I would show you. This is a fake cable where I think you like slip a couple stitches and then pass one over the two stitches, and this turned out very pretty. So talking about multicolors, this yarn is Knitting Fever Painted Mist, and it's an acrylic. It sells for just $10, and this is a free pattern. Yes, what is this free pattern called? I have to look up the name, but that is what it looks like. Some patterns, I don't think they realize when you print it out, it doesn't, every page doesn't show, but it is a nice pattern to show off this yarn. And I am thinking that I had this sitting in the window. I think this might have gotten a little sun bleached, because there I start out very bright and my colors are getting more and more mellow and pastel. But it won't take long and I have lots of time. So what is everyone doing now that they are possibly out of work or home, or the children are home? We've been watching movies, spend more time talking together, taking the dogs for walks. I've been knitting, I've been reading, and this is the book that I had told you about. It's kind of trendy right now to write books where the woman has a role assigned, like the farmer's daughter, the, you know, lighthouse keeper's wife. And this is Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker. And there was a term for that, to be somebody's dressmaker, and I wasn't familiar with the word, but the author I'm very familiar with. She had done an entire series about the Elm Creek quilters. And they were so believable and so real that I actually felt like I could sign up for classes there, which is silly because there is no such place. So I'm about halfway through, and you're seeing history being made through the dressmaker's eyes, and it's a good book. And then I started another book, which I've had for a long time. Laura Hillenbrand is a fantastic author. Unbroken is a World War II story about survival and resilience. I had heard the horrific story in the past about our soldiers who ended up in the water for a month, less than a month, having sharks circle them every single day, attacking them. And this gentleman, Louis, was one of those soldiers. And I'm just at the part where they've been in the water 20 some days, almost a month. They're skin and bones. They have no strength. They've had no food. They're sunburnt and ill. And the sharks are circling and taking them out day by day. And then they see an airplane, and they try to attract the pilot's attention, and he comes back, and Louis has this orange powder that he sprays, and it goes around their rafts, which their rafts are starting to rot and stink. And the plane comes down, and here it's a Japanese fighter, which begins emptying their gun shells in them. It's just horrible. And I know that he survives, and that's where I am. And on a lighter issue, I think I've told you that I like to go to the Amish market, and they have a booth called Passion for Print, and you can get books for $1. And if you have children or grandchildren, especially when kids are very into dinosaurs, this is the cutest. Shows you all the different dinosaurs. I love the illustrations, and I love it now that a lot of teachers are teaching the children to appreciate the artist. So I remember one of my little grandchildren would start reading a book, How Do Dinosaurs Eat Their Food, illustrated by Mark Teague, written by, and so they were taught to acknowledge both. And how does a dinosaur eat his food? Don't you love it? Does he belch? Does he burp? Does he make noises quite rude? Does he fuss or fidget or squirm in his chair? And it gets silly. Does he flip his spaghetti high in the air? You know, some people have a hard time relating to children, and children's books would be a good one. Does he bubble his milk? Which is funny because right before I started reading this, my little grandson is bubbling his, does he stick beans in his nose? And you know what? If you don't have children, if you don't have grandchildren, if you don't babysit nieces or nephews, pick up some kids' books anyway. Go on Amazon Prime or YouTube and look up some children's stories, because it will change your life. Does he squeeze oranges with his big toes? And that was funny because my little grandson had a cold, and we were squeezing oranges and making, so he could relate to these things. This is just, he tries every new thing at least once, which relates more to my grandson Nolan. Kids can be really fussy about how things are mixed together. Most little kids don't like casseroles. No, they don't like fancy things. If you stop for ice cream, they don't want 5 different things mixed together. They want vanilla. And hey, looking at me, little Lily. And so when things are mixed together, like I took my grandson Nolan to a eatery at the Amish market called Gorilla, not Gorilla, but like a Gorilla. I have trouble saying it, but they have the best food. And we got omelets just with bacon. And Nolan didn't